So I just watched the Trump speech on autism. That's a whole hour of my life I won't be getting back. First of all, if you're a pregnant woman in the United States right now, don't take Tylenol. Or if you see a pregnant woman taking Tylenol, no, you didn't. And if anyone ever asks you if you took Tylenol when you were pregnant, no, you didn't. Making the claim that Tylenol causes autism is putting the blame on the women. Has nothing to do with the fact that 90% of autism is genetic, but it's more convenient to blame the woman with this narrative. And now literally the only safe painkiller that women have while pregnant has been taken away. Oh, do you have a super high fever that could actually kill your baby? No, sorry, no Tylenol for you. Do you have a splitting headache and 2 other children to take care of? Sorry, no Tylenol for you. You get to suffer. It's all about the control of women. It's just so funny how these findings seem to match the exact conspiracy theory that the conservative side has been pushing for many years. They always said it was the Tylenol. Oh, and they also said it was from vaccines. He said that too. He says the MMR is a problem and needs to be split into 3 different vaccines for measles, mumps, and that other one. Yeah, because he couldn't remember the name. And then he couldn't even pronounce acetaminophen, so he just kept calling it Tylenol. And then Bobby Kennedy had the nerve to stand there and say, I have never seen a person in the over 50 years of age that has full-blown autism to where they can't communicate and can't take care of themselves. Yes, that's correct, because over 50 years ago, when you had any of those symptoms, they threw you in a mental institution rather than trying to understand what autism is. They said it went from 1 in 10,000 cases to 1 in 31. Something is significantly wrong with that number. Now, I'm not about to fact check his numbers because I'm not an expert on autism. However, I can say we do know a whole lot more about it than we did years ago when it wasn't being tested for. And then they said the Amish communities don't even have autism, and that's because they don't take the vaccines and the medicines. No, honey, no. It's because they don't know what autism is. And if they did know what it was, they wouldn't be screening for it. But it's convenient how you're pushing this trad wife narrative. You know, no vaccines, no Tylenol. And then they talked about nations like Cuba who couldn't afford Tylenol, and they don't have autism. Cuba can't afford Tylenol. They can't afford research on autism. If they can't afford Tylenol, how can they afford assistance in getting a child diagnosed with autism? And now suddenly the FDA is immediately approving the use of leucovorin for the reversal of autism. Oh, thank goodness it's reversible. All these years of research and doctors, and it could have been reversed the whole time. They even had the mothers of 2 autistic sons speak at this press conference. One of them was simply just so frustrated that her son was unable to communicate whatsoever. He was nonverbal whatsoever and couldn't follow commands. And so all he did was yell and scream all day, and she just didn't know what to do. But thank goodness Donald Trump told her the truth, that it was Tylenol this whole time that's caused her problems. And now they can fix it, and she can actually be a parent. And yes, the reason that's dripping in sarcasm is because even though autistic children may be nonverbal, it doesn't mean that they cannot communicate. It just takes a good parent to care, to learn their cues, to learn how to communicate with their child, get help from doctors, read some books, look information up on the internet, do something to learn about your child's condition. Don't just sit there and be angry that they're not being disciplined properly. But now they're immediately approving for prescription a drug called Leucovorin that can help you. And don't worry, all you have to do to get it is register with your doctor and get it by prescription because you can't get it over the counter. And over the next 3 months, they're going to collect everyone's data that starts taking this prescription so they can track the effects. Isn't that what they call a clinical trial? Don't they usually do that before they approve things for prescriptions? I mean, hey, I'm not a scientist. What do I know? Well, what I do know is if you register with your doctor for this program, the government will now know that your child not only takes medicine for autism, but is autistic. May I remind you that just a few weeks ago, a young mother was told that CPS got involved to try to take her children away from her because she refused to enroll them in a voluntary camp for autism awareness. Yes, that's right, folks. She was offered a program in her local community, a voluntary program, like a camp, an autism camp where they could get education and help. And when she politely said no thank you, they got CPS involved and threatened to take her children away. So now this woman has taken her family and fled the state of Florida. The last update I had is that they're so far doing okay and they will be coming out publicly with their story once they are safe. People with autism need to be protected. Autistic people deserve all the love, care, and respect that anybody else gets. And these two men stand behind a podium and say absolutely horrible things about these people. Also, that he can spin a conspiracy narrative about vaccines and Tylenol. He doesn't care about the autistic community. In that same breath, after they asked him about all the cuts to Medicare that the big beautiful bill was going to take, he literally lied and said he was investing $200 billion in autism research. And of course, he finished the press conference with a whole, the economy is booming, we're hotter than we've ever been. Biden left us with high inflation. But grocery prices have come down, gas prices have come down. I've only got one more thing to say on this issue. Where's the files?